How come, given that you've achieved so much, what you might not think as a lot, but to others it's quite a lot more, you still don't feel happy? You still don't feel content. And even when you do achieve something that you've been waiting so long to achieve, and you get to a point, you've put so much discipline, so much energy into one thing, and you get it, you just aren't satisfied at all. Why is that? Why do you not feel satisfied? You've put so much hard work in, and in the end, it's all the same. This can be said with so many things, but the main thing is always money. Money this, money that. You achieve a certain bracket, and then once you reach it, you always thought money buys happiness. That's 100% true. Who says it isn't? But there is a lonely feeling deep inside that just never goes away. So you see that, you're lonely. So you try and find somebody that can occupy that. But in the long term, it just might not work. And for some, depending who you find, it might. But for most, it won't. You just live in the same bubble until you're old, and you still don't get that feeling you have deep inside. Or rather, you just ignore it, so you don't even know about this feeling at all. That feeling inside that you've been pressing for so long, it's screaming at you. Not the sense that it's actually physically, but through your body. It's screeching. That pain you have deep inside, you might not know, or you do, and you try to avoid it. That's just the start of many problems that are to come. You can be good at things, but the one thing you have to be the best in is knowing yourself. Because if you do reach a point where you're the best at something that's besides being yourself, knowing yourself, you just need to get validation from other people either way. So when people hype you up, you feel good about it. You get satisfaction from that, from others. But do you think that will continue for years and years? It's much more accessible to grab these validations. Because let's say you do something good, and you can just use social media in a way to exaggerate it, that you are the best, that you did do this. And the people around you won't deny, you're doing bad, or that, you're not, you're doing okay. They'll say you're doing really well. You'll feel like you're doing well. I'm not saying what you're doing is not enough, that it is bad. But I'm saying the things that you do, it won't have a strong purpose towards them. And those that do have a strong purpose towards them, they are more aligned towards how they feel. But of course, in the society we've built for men who want to strive greater, it comes to a cost of emotional, just being able to think emotionally, just limits us. But that's the way society puts it. Who says men can't be emotional? People say it's feminine. I don't think that. Men are just as emotional as females. You can get offended by that, but don't think about it in that way. Because Men go through so much, but then they don't talk to each other about these things because they think talk about emotions is kind of weird. But imagine in a reality that you guys did, or even confront the idea of these emotions you're feeling inside. And that's what people say when men meet with depression, that they meet with suicide, that they have higher rates. And then a lot of females argue who built that system, which are men. Of course, there are men out there who will empower each other. But what happens if you're all alone? Or well, you're not rather alone, but inside you don't feel like the people around you can resonate at all. The pain you feel deep inside. This pain can be anything. It could even be from nothing at all, but just having this deep sadness. And it's even worse, because with our phones, we can just distract ourselves from it. Why confront these ideas at all? The thing is, you think that, but if currently in your life, it's the worst it's ever been, you have the same reoccurring problems every day, even if it's from work, from family, relationships, it's the same reoccurring problem again and again, and you're like, why? Or rather, some would rather just blame. Oh no, my family's like this. That's why it's not turning good this way. Oh no, women are all the same. Oh no, this. My life sucks. I don't believe I can get into this position. Oh no, I can't get out of this job. Oh no, only 1% of people are able to get to this point. But guess what? If you want to be better than all of them, you just have to go through your emotions, because the percentage of people who actually deep dive into their feelings, it's so much lower. So much lower. You can see rich people, but that doesn't mean they've emotionally matured either. But there's a saying. It's so funny. Would you rather be rich and sad or happy and poor? Like, who created that? So you can have either or. Who said that? Why can't you be rich and happy? Who can't dictate that? And there's another saying that if everybody's rich, then that means we're all normal. And that's a capitalist society. But you know what's funny? If you're able to deep dive through your emotions and really know who you are, through that you can become rich. And you might be like, no way, there's no way. How can going through my emotions help with that? Yeah, it might seem illogical, but a lot of the emotions have been limiting you. Let's say, oh, I can't get this job, there's no way. I feel like I'm a stupid idiot. I don't have any confidence. I'm a loner. See? Those are all emotions limiting you. So why not address them? You're not confident, okay? So that's a big problem in itself. You don't feel confident, maybe because your family never gave you the confidence, that they always push you down, low and lower. And the friends around you would encourage you, saying, you're doing so well. But since your family didn't give you that, you feel like you're useless, you're worthless. So why bother jump? Why not try new ventures? And I understand on the current day and age, there are a lot of people that try and support that. A lot of men saying, no, you have to, even if you have this problem, everybody has problems. That's true, everybody has problems. So you have to keep going and push through it. Push through all that pain. And you'll be successful. And when you're successful, you'll be happy. But guess what? People who do have issues, they do push through it, but those who push through it, when they reach the end, that the belief that once you get rich, you do actually get that excitement, that freedom for a short period of time. But again, you'll notice it doesn't really matter, because that issue you had that you didn't deal with initially, it will just bite back. Just like how people say they have childhood trauma. There are people old, really super old, and they say they have childhood trauma. I'm not dismissing the idea of it. I'm saying people don't confront the idea of it because it's too painful. But then again, you can say everybody experiences pain. Everybody has issues. But people have been directing it in the wrong way. Don't push yourself to do things externally. Everybody has issues. Sometimes in some circumstances, yes, you can push through in terms of job, career. But what's really you need to do is address those issues and confront them. That's rare. Nobody ever does that at all. Hardly. Especially men. I've never seen a lot of guys do that until they reach a much older age, or those who are extremely rich and they realize they had to pay such a heavy price that they need to confront these ideas. Okay? I've seen for females, there's always, in a way, some sort of support system that females who are much older usually give advice to younger women. And men, but whereas men, they give more financial advice towards the younger generation. But what about the issues they really have? They just block it, and they don't talk about it. But guess what? Since they never talk about it, I bet the older generation have just bad trauma as a younger generation. It might be different. Of course it's different. Because back then people say it's war, it's this, but we're in a new day and age. It's much more different. We all have problems. But the difference is to not avoid it at all. And that's a painful process. But to do that while having so much responsibility on top of you, that's a more heavy burden. Much more heavier than a normal person. You can go through that pain and just do it externally, meaning just push through this venture, this business idea, this academic journey you're going through. You push through it. Imagine doing that while thinking yourself internally, your internal conflict throughout the whole thing. Of course, you'll get flashbacks of your past. You'll be like, damn, how could something like that happen? How? And a lot of times, when people see it like that, they see it as a religion. And a lot of people, they're not really into religion. I understand that. And I don't want to push anything either. But it's just about confronting yourself. Knowing yourself. Just really pushing it through. Being able to stare off into a wall. And you get to a point where when you stare off, you don't think anything at all. You have no thoughts. No thoughts at all. And I'm not just saying for 2-3 minutes. I'm talking about 30 minutes. In a way, it's like meditation. But this is staring off at a wall. Because since when? How long have you done that before? Have you ever done that? Have you ever just stared off at a wall and you've been confronted with so many things that flash back from the past, or the amount of stupid things you've done? You're like, damn it, I should not have done that. Or why did this happen to me? You need to confront that. But of course you need guidance towards that. Because each difficulty is hard. You want to, not in a way, justify every single thing that's happened from the past. But you really need to think in perspectives, not just yourself, but in perspectives of what someone else would think. And that will allow you to really know who you are. And until then, you'll feel much better when you reach to levels of success. And you'll be much happier in comparison to those who just reach for the wealth. You can be rich and happy. It's possible.